Al, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
Before we get stuck into this particular story, I'll give you a few migration statistics. 74,751 asylum applications relating to nearly 90,000 people in 2022 are from people who arrived by small boats, right? Britain spent £3.7 billion last year supporting refugees who arrived in the country. 14,223 applications were made by Albanians, the largest national group. Most were lodged by men. Now, no doubt many of those men will have said to the Home Office, well, you know, I can't be sent back to Albania because I'm gay and I will be persecuted, or because in one particular case there's a guy who's running a car wash up in Leicester who said he can't go home to Albania, I think it is, because he's going to be murdered by his wife's family. And when he was asked why that would be, he said, well, because I murdered her. And you go, sorry, you know. So all of these claims from people that, you know, they're going to be tortured or they're going to suffer discrimination, they might even be murdered by the state because of their sexuality or whatever, you know, they're being coached. And you know this, and I've known this for many, many years. Finally now it's kind of become a public knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah, we've always known that this has gone on. It used to happen back in the 60s and 70s because lawyers, groups who are supporting applicants of one form or another, they know exactly how to get around the law.
Right.
And this is what happens. And can you not imagine how an individual, an official dealing with it, when he's time after time he's refused an application and it goes to appeal or whatever, and back it comes saying, no, the person must be allowed in. In the end, they think, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
And that's why 75% of those who are, of applicants are actually refused.
In most other European countries.
In most other European countries, at least two-thirds more, one-third more are actually, let me start again. In France, they allow a third of the numbers that we let in.
Right.
Those that we initially say no to eventually go on to appeal.
Right.
The vast majority of all of them, actually, whatever the decision, will never be forced out, will end up staying here. So why wouldn't lawyers who know they can scam and they can get round the system by advising their clients to do this, not do it when they make a huge amount of money, as we know, become millionaires, some of them?
Yes. They
would, of course, do it because we allow them to, and that is where I think the system is falling down. The whole system is discredited when this sort of thing goes on. The asylum system, and it brings into disrepute the whole profession, the whole legal profession.
I mean,
what do you think about that?
The law firms involved in this undercover sting, which is kind of what it is, what the Daily Mail did was they sent individuals into these law firms posing as asylum seekers to see what they would be offered. And basically, one after another, they were offered all sorts of methods of finding ways of being allowed to stay. And they were given advice. Some of them even told, you can say that you're feeling suicidal, you're suffering from depression, we can provide you with antidepressant pills so you can prove that you're on them. You know, the whole thing is a scam, and we've known it from day one. Some of these law firms have since supposedly got rid of the people that were making those offers, and they're trying to make out.
Frankly.
They're trying to make out. Well, what I was being told by a couple of people tweeting in earlier was, why don't we look back at these law firms and some of the cases that they've represented and see who those people are and see whether that might be something that could be followed up on.
I think there's a great deal that could be followed up on. Look, if you talk to the applicants at length, you can easily show that the whole thing is a tissue of lies.
Right.
The problem is we haven't got sufficient resources. Immigration officials are being told, you know, these are the criteria to which you've got to work to, and this is the sort of time. There's a lot of pressure because of the people waiting to be cleared, the people in the queue, 160,000. So there's a hell of a lot of pressure on our officials actually to make the right decision. And the right decision is get rid of them,
Yes.
get them out of the way. That is wrong. What we should be doing is providing the right resources, giving time to immigration officials to talk, to judge whether or not a person is actually telling the truth.
Yes.
None of that can happen any longer, and that is why numbers will continue to go up and up and up.
Well, that's the problem. Rishi Sunak has actually tweeted out about this today, quoting the story itself from the Daily Mail, saying, "This is what we're up against. The Labour Party, a subset of lawyers, criminal gangs, they're all on the same side, propping up a system of exploitation that profits from getting people to the UK illegally. I have a plan to stop it." So, he says, and whether or not you believe him, he says, "First, I recently passed laws that will mean if you come to the UK illegally, you can't claim asylum, you can't misuse our modern slavery protections, you can't make false human rights claims, you can't stay. These laws go further than any government has gone before." That's all fine, but will they be able to prove that people are lying? They seem to me to need to be a lot more sceptical of some of these claims, and because one of the arguments that the lefties always make, and the lefty lawyers always make, is, well, 80% of the people who claim asylum in Britain actually get it, so therefore they must deserve it. And you go, well, actually, let's go around the other way.
They don't actually get asylum. They get to stay here, which is very different. Yeah. I agree. Frankly, the people who are getting away with it now can quite easily be countered if we did it properly, and we're not at the moment. And it's all very well for Rishi Sunak to say this is what's going to happen now, but we've heard it before, frankly, and we have also... We know that those who are coming in, will they be all detained? Will they all be removed? If that doesn't happen, all it will do is encourage more and more to come. I hope it works, and I hope the new legislation, which is necessary, does work and it is implemented. I still have my doubts at this stage. It remains to be seen whether it actually works.
I mean, one of the things he says he's done is also to secure the largest ever small boats deal with France, which will see 40% more patrols on French beaches. The first 60 French reservists were deployed this week. So it'll be interesting to see whether that's made any difference.
Well,
I can't say, because I don't know what the numbers are this week of people coming over.
We are more or less, the weather's been bad last few days. We're pretty much at the same sort of level as we were last year, just under what we were at this time this year, this year to what we were last year. So, it seems to have eased, partly because there are fewer Albanians coming, frankly. But rather than say we're going to have an agreement with the French whereby they stop the boats setting off, why not get an agreement with the French that says take these people back who you don't want anyway, and very often you've rejected for asylum in your own country? Why won't you take them back? Then they will say, well, the EU, blah, blah, blah.
Presumably they'll say, well, we've rejected their asylum claims, so they can't come here. Right, which is what they should say, which is what we should say.
If you can't get asylum in France or in Germany or in any other country that you've been through, frankly, we don't want you either.
No.
But hey, the House of Lords says no, this is wrong, because they're all deserving of asylum because they're all fleeing persecution.
I don't understand why the legal sort of system in this country, whether it's the Court of Appeal or the House of Lords or whichever body it is, can't actually take things on a sort of extraneous basis to say that, why don't we assume that all of them are not have not got the right to stay here or to come here, and occasionally take the odd exception and say, OK, well, you can, because this is a good reason.
You have to have a law that says that, Mike. And we don't. At the moment, it's framed in such a way that the government, we have to demonstrate that it's false. We have to show and give evidence why we believe that what they're saying is wrong, is a lie. At the moment, really, anyone who says, I'm fleeing persecution, I'm being abused, and here's a photograph to do it, and this is a report of what has been going on. At that stage, we have to prove that is false, that they're not fleeing persecution. And that is the devil's own job, really, to to do
so
that.
So the burden of proof should really be on them, shouldn't it?
Well,
to prove that they are who they say they are, that they're coming from... Because I'm sure there will be people coming from countries and saying they're coming from other countries.
Well, and that happens time and time again. And it happened from the Middle East when people were claiming to be one nationality and they were from somewhere totally different. But a lot of the people in this Daily Mail report were, in fact, from India.
Yeah.
Now, is that really the sort of country where we can expect thousands of people to be coming, claiming asylum? We're fools.
Yes.
Really, we're being conned and we're allowing ourselves to be conned. And the taxpayer is the one who foots the bill.
Yeah.
That's what disgraceful
about it. Well, I was saying, the thing about this business is it's a very good business. The people in it are making an awful lot of money, whether it's the human traffickers, whether it's the lawyers, whether it's the people selling the dinghies, whether it's the hotels putting them up, whether it's the, the lawyers on the other end actually kind of, making sure they can stay. Everyone's making money out of this, apart from the taxpayer, who are footing the bill for it all.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about time it stopped, frankly. Yeah. Those who are guilty of these offences should be tried, jailed, and then, where appropriate, deported.
And any law firm that's been involved in this type of behaviour, should they not have their licences pulled?
Shut down immediately.
Yeah. Not good enough to just go, we didn't know that was happening, so now we've let the guy go.
And frankly, they should be prosecuted as well. They're breaking the law. Yeah. They're diverting the course of justice in a way that you don't expect your lawyers, your legal representative to be doing it. It's shocking. It really is.
It's extraordinary. But as I say, not surprising, because we've been saying this for a very long time. Alp and I, Migration Watch, have been on this for many, many years, long before it became a sort of trendy subject to even discuss on the BBC. I mean, they've only just started to discover it in the last 6 months.
Sometimes discussed on the BBC.
Sometimes, yeah, when they're not telling lies about the weather. But that's another story. Alp, thank you very much indeed. Alp Mehmet's here.